Hello guys, welcome back to another Witch Doctor build video, and today we're covering the new HELLTOOTH Gargantuan build for Season 6. The build is almost identical to the last season's HELLTOOTH build with some very minor changes, those changes simply being the amulet and rings, as well as some small playstyle changes which I'll get to towards the end of the video after we run through some gear and abilities needed. Regarding the strength of the build itself, the HELLTOOTH build is currently dominating the leaderboards and appears to be the strongest at the moment. But the patch is still fresh, and I have a feeling we might start seeing some surprising variations of the Xenoswarm set, as well as some LON builds. But one of the best things about the HELLTOOTH build is that it's incredibly easy to gear for, which makes it ideal for pushing greater rifts early on the new season. And speaking of the gear, let's get into what items you'll be needing, as well as the stats required. So the first thing you'll be needing is 5 pieces of the HELLTOOTH set, of which shoulders, chest, legs and boots are compulsory, with the helm and gloves being whichever is best for you based on the next item, and that item is going to be either a pair of Tasker and Theo gloves, which will be increasing the attack speed of our pets, or a Mask of Duram, which will be increasing the damage of our pets, which I have placed into the cube. So let's say your Taskers rolled really bad, but you have a great Mask of Duram, then cube the Taskers and equip a pair of HELLTOOTH gloves instead, placing the Mask of Duram in the helm slot. For our braces we have the Lacumba's ornament, for our waist we have a witching hour, for our weapon we have a Sacred Harvester, and for our mojo we have a Henry's Perquisition. Now you could also use a Eucapian Serpent here, as it will provide more consistency in terms of damage reduction on the Rift Guardian. However, the kitty will be crucial to running through large amounts of trash and collecting groups of enemies, which is an essential part of the build's playstyle, which we'll get into in a bit, so I suggest using a kitty for your mojo. For our amulet and rings then, we are running with the newly changed Traveller's Pledge and Compass Rose, followed by the Short Man's Finger. For our legendary gems, we are running with a Bane of the Trapped and a Bane of the Stricken, just like last time, but now we're making use of the updated Enforcer gem, which means our pets will pretty much never die, as well as receiving a significant boost to the way that they deal damage. Now let's take a quick look at the stats you'll be wanting on your items. For your helm, Intelligence, Vitality, Critical Hit Chance and the Gem Socket. For your shoulders, Intelligence, Vitality, Area Damage and Gargantuan Damage. On your chest, Intelligence, Vitality, Gargantuan Damage and 3 gem sockets. On your gloves, Intelligence, ideally area damage over attack speed, critical hit chance and critical hit damage. On your witching hour, Intelligence, Vitality, attack speed, critical hit damage. On your braces, cold damage, Intelligence, Vitality, critical hit chance. On your legs, Intelligence, Vitality, armor and 2 gem sockets. On your boots, Intelligence, Vitality, Resist All and Armor. On your weapon, area damage followed by whatever variation will maximize the total damage of your weapon. On your mojo, Intelligence, Critical Hit Chance, Area Damage and Gargantuan Damage. For your amulet, either cold damage or Intelligence, Critical Hit Chance, Critical Hit Damage and the gem socket. For your rings, Intelligence, Critical Hit Chance, Critical Hit Damage and the gem socket. You might be able to obtain area damage on the Compass Rose, provided it rolled perfectly to begin with. Now let's take a look at the skills. So firstly we're running with Piranhas with Piranado and Wall of Death with Communing with Spirits. The Wall of Death will be triggering our HELLTOOTH proc and will need to be active all the time, and we'll be using Piranado to stack the enemies on top of our Gargantuans, who will be making use of the area damage that we're stacking to trigger massive amounts of AoE cleave damage. So next we of course have our Gargantuan skill with the Humongoid rune, and also zombie dogs with the Leeching Beast rune. Our dogs will be the vital attribute to our defensibility by giving us a constant stream of life regeneration by utilizing our life on hit with every attack. Finally we have Soul Harvest with Languish, which will provide us with a small defensive buff in itself, but it's mostly keeping us with 10 stacks by combining our Sacred Harvester and Lacumba's braces, giving us huge amounts of damage reductions, so it's very important to keep the 10 stacks active at all times. Followed then by Spirit Walk with either Jaunt or Severance. Severance will allow you to zip around much faster, however in most cases I prefer Jaunt, as it provides a little more survivability with the extra second of immunity when you decide to hold your position in the middle of enemy AoE. For our passives then, we're running with Midnight Feast, Graven Justice, Pierce the Veil and Spirit Vessel. For Paragon Priority, I would suggest movement speed, then intelligence, crit chance, crit damage, cooldown reduction, armor, life, resist all, area damage and life on hit. Regarding the playstyle then, there are a few things you'll want to take into consideration. Firstly, your Gargantuans are going to be the main source of your damage, so be smart about their positioning and resummoning them if necessary to position them. You want to always use your Piranado for stacking the enemies on top of your Gargs. You want to be triggering your area damage every time they cleave, so the best way to achieve this is to run through enemies, collecting up as much as you can into an area, then proceed to Piranado them into a single spot, ideally on top of your Gargs or resummoning your Gargs on top of them. You'll kind of want to skip large enemies that are by themselves, or you can try leading them into clumps of smaller enemies as they have smaller hitboxes and are perfect for triggering the area damage. In fact, the fastest way to down an elite or a large enemy is to pull them towards a group of smaller enemies and smash them all together. Try to stand still for as long as possible when DPSing so as to make use of the 100% damage buff from your Endless Walk set. Equip an Oculus ring on your follower so that they can summon rings of power on the floor, which you can stand in for further damage increase. Always keep up 10 stacks of Soul Harvest as it's your main source of defensibility along with the healing from your zombie dogs. If a pack is proving difficult, do not hesitate to skip them. This build is all about pushing forward and collecting enemies as you go in order to crush them together in massive clumps. If a Rift Guardian is proving difficult, you can always hide behind a wall or a doorway, popping out to recast your Wall of Death when necessary. I think that's the build, guys. I will place a Diablo fans written link in the description, and I'll try to update the build if any changes are made during the season. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up button, and if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing for more Diablo content and more coming soon. Alright guys, until next time, take care.